I, Clara, 23 female, have been friends with Marie, 22 female, and Jessica, 23 female, since middle school. We all work at the same big box retail store, and we've all worked our way up to being department managers. We see each other almost every day and share many personal details of our lives, including discussing bills and budgeting. I live with my parents. Marie lives in her grandma's basement, and we thought Jessica still lived in her grandma's old trailer, which is the reason she gave for never having people over. Recently, there was some local drama, and the land for Jessica's whole trailer park was abruptly sold to a corporation, which meant that everybody's leases were up in the air. We told Jessica that she could stay with us for a while if the corporation kicked her out. She said she appreciated it, but everything would be okay. Marie's uncle is a lawyer and swooped in to get everyone in the trailer park together for a case. Still, when Marie asked him how it was going and about Jessica, he said he didn't know who that was. So I did a public record search and discovered that Jessica had bought a $250,000 house and land outright 6 months ago. After we asked, semi-jokingly, if she was a drug dealer, Jessica admitted that she won about $700,000 gambling 2 years ago, and she didn't want to tell anyone. Marie and I were upset, and I told her that she not only let us worry about her living situation, but that we had commiserated with her about everything from our tires going bald to couponing for food to fighting hospitals about medical bills that weren't right. She countered and said that she's not set for life or a millionaire, and that I shouldn't be looking her up online anyway and being nosy. Am I the idiot? Edit. I do not want her money and have not asked her for money. At the time, I told her I didn't like that she commiserated with Marie and me about things like, for example, finding a quarter behind the vending machines, being stressed out about a medical bill, or just waiting just a little longer to get new tires because ours were bald when she knew she was flush with cash. And Maria and I thought we were all in the same boat. I'm mad and jealous my friend is doing better than I am. I invaded her privacy and involved myself in something that had nothing to do with me. How am I the idiot? Seriously? Get a clue. You are the idiot for searching for your friend and thinking it's any of your business to confront her about her finances and not accepting her explanation. You're not being a good friend. Yeah, what kind of friend immediately tries to search public records for information instead of just asking, hey, aren't you in the lawsuit thing? Marie's uncle's doing that for the trailer park. Hopefully she's broken off this relationship. If I were Jessica, I'd feel really violated by that. That was next level snooping. She doesn't have to justify herself to you. Other people's finances are not your concern. She knew her having money would change y'all, which it did, so she kept the money secret. Yep, sounds like Jessica picked up on your intrusive nature and decided not to tell you about her good fortune with the winnings. OP, your entire issue is that your good lifelong friend listened to you talk about money problems, and if you'd known she had money, you would have excluded her from these conversations. Or would you have expected a friend to say, I know what, I will get you the new tires. This is what OP wants us to believe. She wanted to say, all the time she could have paid those bills for us, because the alternative to commiserating is offering money. So she's annoyed that friend didn't offer money, because what was the alternative? In fact, this is exactly the reason that people generally should not tell their friends if they win the lottery or have a sudden windfall. People treat you like crap if they find out you have more money than they do and expect that your money will become their benefit. All she wanted to do was keep her friends. If anything, it was thoughtful and kind of her for still commiserating with you. She isn't obligated to give you money to solve your problems just because she has money. I'm the middle child of 3 girls. My older sister, Kate, 29, then me, 27 female, and then our younger sister, Amy, 26. Kate and I had a good relationship as kids, and so did Amy and I, but Kate always disliked Amy. I believe part of the reason is she felt embarrassed about Amy's speech issue. Amy's had trouble with her speech since she was a child. Some sounds she cannot make the same, and some she's trying, but they come out differently than others would say them. Her own name is an example. She says it like Amy instead of Amy, when we always say it as Amy. She did speech therapy as a kid, and she had an IEP in school, but her speech issues never fully went away. This was always something Kate hated, and she hated hearing Amy talk. I always told Kate it wasn't Amy's fault, but Kate was just never fond of Amy. I don't want to say she hates Amy, but it sure did seem that way at times. Kate had her first baby a few weeks ago, and Amy's had difficulty saying her name. It doesn't sound the same when she says it, but clearly she's trying. And I know she's self-conscious about it, so she tries not to say the name. She told me it's not like she'll be allowed to be much of an aunt anyway, since Kate never liked her. We were at our parents' house over the weekend, and at some point, Amy said our niece's name. Kate got super angry with her that she didn't say it right. She told her that was why she never liked her. She was always rude and couldn't even put effort into saying names right, and how glad she was that she won't be around her daughter much to influence her. And who knows, maybe she just won't know who she is at all. She'd be happier that way. Amy was so upset, and I was so mad at Kate. I told her she's such a bully to Amy, and she knows Amy isn't intentionally saying the name wrong. She can't help it. I told her she should be more understanding and less of a bully. Kate could not believe I was being so harsh. She also couldn't believe I would side with Amy over her. I don't feel bad for defending Amy, but maybe I went too far. Kate said so. She told me she would never have called me a bully, no matter what, and that I had chosen a side that was wrong to do. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You're 100% correct in what you told Kate. The fact Amy can't even say her own name as you all do is proof. Amy's amazing for even trying to have a relationship with Kate after all the years of this behavior, and even recognized that she wouldn't be able to see her niece because of Kate's issues. Where are your parents defending their youngest daughter? You are the idiot for not speaking out about this sooner. This was always something Kate hated, and she hated hearing Amy talk. I would have gone no contact with her way before this incident. I was really sad for Amy for having a whole idiot family. I wouldn't call her an idiot since this was the job of the parents to nip this in the bud. Sounds like Kate, the golden child, and her parents allowed this, which probably means it took OP longer to really be able to handle this. Easy to call someone an idiot when we really don't know how family dynamics actually work. Yesterday was my nephew's birthday, toddler, and my sister and brother-in-law had a little get-together at their house. When it was time for cake, they brought out my nephew's smash cake. Exactly what it sounds like, a cake for the baby to smash up and get icing all over themselves for cute pictures or whatever. I imagined it would be the size of a big cupcake, but they brought out a regular-sized round birthday cake. I figured they splurged and still expected the cake to be just for him to play around with. But after my nephew had gone at this cake with his bare hands and stuck his whole face in it, my sister started scooping up the mangled remains and distributing servings to everyone, just a handful of family members, and everyone else was actually eating it. I declined because, seriously? I didn't want to eat something that had a baby's grubby hands and body all over it, and I was really surprised that anyone else did. Finally, my sister insisted I take a portion, and I said, "Really? No, that's gross." Now, I probably wouldn't have used the word gross if I wasn't on the spot, but I wasn't at all prepared to have to politely decline to eat baby spit. My sister was very hurt by that and told me later on a phone call that I thought was way longer than it needed to be for the severity of the infraction, that she thought I was being extremely judgmental, that it wasn't a big deal. We're all family. Don't participate if I really don't want to, but don't call her gross, etc. Not the idiot. Children are petri dishes for every type of virus and bacteria out there. Smash cakes are supposed to only be for smashing and for the baby to eat. There's usually a second non-smashed cake for adults to eat, or the adults are just adults about it and don't eat any cake. I've never heard of someone trying to serve a smashed cake to adults. Ew, that is so gross. Don't blame you for the gross part either. I'd react the same. My daughter's turning 1 next month, and we plan to have a small cupcake as her smash cake and other cupcakes for everyone else. We would never even think of having everyone eat the smash cake. Ugh! In what way is it even okay to consider making your guests eat the now smashed cake, even if they are family? Yep, I can't imagine eating a cake with baby drool all over it. Plus, babies literally touch everything, so we don't know where those hands have been. I won't even eat little kids' birthday cakes when they blow out the candles. They spit all over them, and when they blow out the candles, it's gross. Next time she's over for dinner, serve a cake for dessert, but desecrate it first, and then be upset when she doesn't want to eat it. Or maybe scoop their pasta with your hands. I, 29 male, have known my wife, 30, and her best friend, Jess, 29 female, since we were all 11. We attended middle school together and high school, but I wasn't in their social circles. I was always one of the sort of nerdy, awkward kids, and the two of them were both very popular. My wife in particular was extremely popular because she was, and still is, extremely beautiful, kind, and intelligent. She was our student body president and valedictorian. Jess was also very pretty. I even had a tiny crush on her back then, and similarly popular. My wife and Jess have been best friends since kindergarten. My wife and I started dating our senior year of high school after we were paired together to complete a project in one of our classes. We realized that we got along really well, and she asked me out, and I wasn't saying no to her. Jess from the very start didn't respect our relationship and firmly believed that my wife could do much better. She has, in the decade plus since, consistently told me that my wife is out of my league, that I was lucky she settled for me so young, and that my wife belongs with a more attractive and successful man. Now, I'm the first one to admit that my wife is out of my league. She's far more attractive, makes more money, and is just generally an amazing human being. But hearing it so often doesn't exactly feel good. Jess has also tried to convince my wife to cheat on me multiple times, and even tried to set her up with other men, because she disapproves of my wife and me being the only intimate partners we've ever had. Jess has a daughter, kindergarten, whose father bailed on her, and she raises her as a single mom. Jess actually dropped out of med school to raise her daughter once she realized the father would not be in the picture. My wife and I love her daughter and love having her over. Jess had a date on Saturday night, so she left her daughter with us for the night, came to pick her up on Sunday, and stayed for lunch. As I was preparing lunch for everyone and her daughter was playing in the yard, Jess and my wife were talking about her date. Jess was going on and on about how attractive this guy was, how good he was in bed, and all of the details, but I just ignored it. Jess then looked at me and said, "You're lucky you locked her down when you were so young, before she knew that there was better out there," and then turned to my wife and offered to give the guy her number in case she wanted to try him out. I got really angry at this point, so I just said, "I doubt you know anything about better, since your taste in men is why you're a single mom and not a doctor right now." Both just stared at me in shock, and then Jess called me an idiot and left quickly with her daughter. My wife has been upset with me since, so I have to ask, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your wife is the biggest idiot. She's allowed Jess to talk down to you for years and done nothing. You deserve better. You are out of her league. Jess is an idiot for treating you like crap and trying to get your wife to see other men for years. She should be banned from your house. Jess offered to give the guy her number in case she wanted to try him out? What the heck? She's offering your wife phone numbers? She'd tell her you aren't worthy of her. She's a homewrecker. Always has been. Dude, your wife is playing you like a fiddle. This is just horrific to watch. And you're going to apologize to her for attacking, insulting, putting you down, and encouraging your wife to sleep with various guys? You assume she cares about how you feel. She doesn't, unless it's enjoying your misery. Given that the wife is willing to indulge her friend and talking about hooking her up with a guy in front of her husband, it might not be OP's problem in the end, and actually could be grounds for divorce. Actually, I'd divorce a husband and buddy who pulled this stunt, and I wouldn't have waited 10 years to do it. You deserve better, OP. Update. Am I the idiot for telling my wife's friend that her taste in men is the reason she's a single mom? My wife acknowledges that what Jess has said was inappropriate, but thinks that what I said was unnecessarily cruel. It was always Jess's dream to be a doctor like her dad, especially after her dad passed away, and now that's never going to happen. Part of the reason why I feel so strongly about this is that we recently found out that my wife is pregnant. We haven't told anyone yet, so Jess doesn't know, and my wife wants to make Jess the godmother. I personally don't want my kid to be raised by someone who thinks so lowly of one of the parents, but maybe that's just me. Jess has commented in the past about my kids being ugly because they're going to look like me, and has said that our kids will look weird because my wife and I make a weird mix. So, yeah. I talked to Jess. Yeah, everyone said not to apologize, but honestly, sometimes you can acknowledge that you did something bad, even if the other person also did a bad thing. And yes, what I did was bad. Part of the reason I posted here in the first place was that I was feeling guilty about it, because I knew I'd been overly mean to her, and I was hoping that this post would make me feel less guilty. That didn't really work, unfortunately. So yeah, I was going to call her to apologize, but Jess actually beat me to it. Apparently my wife had texted her and told her how I felt about everything she was saying, and that led to Jess deciding to talk to me myself. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed because my wife showed me the text, and my wife didn't actually even tell Jess to apologize, so she did that on her own. I do believe it was genuine, especially because when she called me, Jess sounded pretty distressed. So she apologized profusely, actually. She said that she really didn't mean for me to take it seriously, and she felt really bad when my wife told her. I talked to her for a long time, and basically detailed everything she'd done to disrespect me and our marriage and how I felt about it. She apologized for it all and said that this was how she was with all her friends. She told me all about how she would frequently tell my wife that she'd steal me from her and that she'd set me up with another woman that she knew. I told Jess she needed to stop that too. It wasn't right directed at me, and it wasn't right directed at her. She accepted that. She said the only reason she thought her jokes were okay was that it was so obviously we'd never cheat on each other. Apparently, Jess was never serious about giving my wife's phone number and would never actually disrespect our marriage like that. So at least she has some boundaries. Jess even said if my wife ever came close to cheating, she'd be the first to stop it, which I doubt, but there's no reason to rock the boat. I apologized to Jess for what I said, but I pretty much just flatly told her that she and I were not friends, so it wasn't appropriate for her to talk to me like that. She was pretty hurt by that, but said that she understood. I then asked her if she had any jealousy toward our relationship, and she admitted that she did. She said she wished she had a relationship like that, and that it was pretty clear that my wife and I truly did love one another. So everyone saying she was jealous gets a cookie. So yeah, she apologized and I apologized. Did I buy it completely? Of course not. Do I think at least some of it was a performance? Just crocodile tears? Yes, absolutely. Do I think she's sorry and will be better? I'd like to think so. Congratulations on the baby, but dude, are you reading these words that you're writing? Stand up for yourself and stop letting this woman walk all over you and your marriage. Hard no on Jess being the godmother. She's toxic. You need to fix your self-esteem issues so you can instill self-worth in your child. Why are you still talking to her at all? Good Lord, grow a spine. OP needs to realize his perfect wife is just another Jess, and Jess is probably so brazen because OP's wife has taken her up on the offer before. Why does your wife let Jess humiliate you like this? Because she's in on the joke. Yeah, OP, I wouldn't trust her either. There are lots of stories where a wife's female BFF has a miserable dating and relationship life that they end up sabotaging their friend's marriage so that they aren't miserable alone. You can act all cordial around her, but definitely keep your radar active. Good luck with this friend, and congratulations on the upcoming little one.